All right, y'all. Well, thank you guys so much for joining the 4th edition of the Xofu webinar. We recently launched our new citation audit feature on January 26th. And even though we did a preview of that edition the last time around, we're going to take a deeper dive into it today and also highlight some changes we've made as well. Additionally, we have some exciting UI and UX updates to Xofu we want to share with you. And then also just want to remind everybody that anybody that watches this call after the fact, we'd love any and all feedback you may have about these updates or anything else related to Xofu and LLM visibility. Please hit us up at info@xofu.com to pass along that feedback, or if you're just wanting to rap about LLMs and Xofu. So without further ado, take it away, Luke.
All right. So our biggest announcement is that since the previous webinar last month, we have fully released the citation audit feature for all users in Xofu. What this means is if you have existing projects that you've created, you can enter one of those projects and click the Citation Optimization button from the sidebar. And this is where you'll be able to audit your project data. And in the audit, we will go through the citation set that we gathered for your LLM responses. We will crawl all of those pages, and we will build a report outlining what are the domains that are talking about your brand and your competitors and also have established presence in LLM citations. So the front page of the audit is the page citation map. What you're seeing here is all of the domains for this project that were cited by the LLMs and talk about the main brand in the project. So there's a table view of the graph down here, and all of the URLs, the pages in this report, all are, 1, being cited, and 2, talking about the main brand here. You can look at the same view for any of the other competing brands in your project to see what are the domains that are talking about one of my competitors, for instance. And you can compare the 2 brands, like yourself and one of your competitors, to look at what are the shared surfaces, pages that are talking about both brands, and more importantly, what are the gaps? What are the domains and pages where my brand is not being mentioned and my competitors are? And these, since they've established LLM citability on these pages, these are important targets for you to go out and try and place your brand on with editorial content. The idea is if you investigate the different brands and your gaps with them, you can create outreach lists from these pages and place your own brand name on those sites, which would in turn increase your presence and visibility and the breadth of your own citation map here. So you can go through this, view all of the pages. Since the last webinar, we've also added another few features to this view. So the first one is that you can now filter by the tags in your project and the platforms in your project up here. So if you're particularly interested in seeing what are the pages that are being cited in Google AI overviews to talk about your own brand, that's something you can do here. And that will propagate down to the table and the export options here as well. Which this is the second thing we've added, is that you can now export this whole list by just the domains or also the pages. So if I come over here, this is just a way you can quickly create a spreadsheet of all of the brands that are talking about yourself or your competitors. You can use this with the gaps feature as well. So you can go to the comparison view and export these gaps too. So if you wanted to create a list of just the sites where your own brand isn't being mentioned, that you know is being used to answer the prompts that you added to your project, you can very quickly come up with a list of actionable outreach that you can use that we would expect to have a tangible impact if you were to place your brand on those sites. Besides the new citation audit, we've also made some updates to the UI across the main dashboard in Xofu. So Out here on the front page of the dashboard, we've done a redesign for this page. When you're looking at your projects, there is now a new compact list view that you can use to view your projects this way. We've added new sorting options for accounts that have many projects in them. You can sort by project name, visibility, citations. And the last new feature we've added out here is you can now share projects at an individual level. Previously, before this update, you were able to share your account as a sort of shared workspace flow where you would share your account with other members of the platform, and then they would be able to see all your projects, create new projects in the account. But what we've done now is given you the separate capability to share projects individually. So each of these projects could have different viewers and editors that are allowed to use them. And so it allows more options when operating out of a single account to have different people working in different places. If I go over to a secondary account, so I'm in a separate account now, you can see that you can click the shared projects view from this drop down up here, and this will show you projects that have been shared from other accounts. This is how you'll access the projects if they've been shared with you, or you can use a link that'll get sent from an email. One thing that's important to note is if you share a project with someone and they aren't yet signed up for the platform, they will have to complete a sign up in order to view the project, and they'll be guided through that process in the email that they receive from the invitation. When you're using this shared view, you can also filter on the owner of the project and the account that owns the project. This will be useful if you have many projects shared with you. But that concludes the outer dashboard page. Next, let's go into a project, and I'll show you some of the updates we've made there. On the front page of a project, the Overview tab, we've updated these cards at the bottom. They will now show you the mention trends and the citation trends over the past 30 days of your project. This is more in sync with the idea of getting a quick overview. So that's what's new here. If I go over to the brand tab, we've updated the UI on this page, specifically in these rank charts to be more in tune with the citations tab so that everything feels more in sync, and it's hopefully going to improve the readability. We've also updated how average position is being calculated on these views. So now you can use the granularity and also the date range to inspect changes over a particular period. Lastly, over in the settings page, I also want to call out that the new project sharing that we've added is also manageable from the settings of your project. So you can come here and add members to the project with this form. And if you've added members to the project, you can also update their role or delete them from this view as well. So that concludes the new changes that we've seen in Xofu over the past month. I'll hand it back to Michael now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Luke. I know that that's been a lot of work over the past month, and we're super excited to get those changes live. Yeah, so thank you guys again for joining this. Quick reminder that the next webinar will be on March 20th, and we hope you can make it. Thank you to those that were able to watch today. But as always, we publish the newsletter to our blog. We'll be doing that today. And then we also record the webinar, and we'll be nesting that recording in the blog post on our site. And we'll also be adding it to our YouTube channel as well. And again, just wanted to shout out any feedback that you have when you watch that video. Please send that to us through our email at info@xofu.com. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching. So thank you guys.
Thanks, everyone.